Hey everybody, welcome back into the studio. I'm Stephen Levine from NASCAR Illustrated. Tom Vandervoort is with me. He's from Sporting News. We're heading to Richmond, which for many years was our home track.
Many years. It's a great track. It's a great race.
Until we moved to Charlotte, and now Charlotte is our home track. But Richmond remains one of our favorites.
And a large part because of this very race right here. You cannot beat the drama of the Saturday night race before the chase because of the wild card situation, which leaves all these permutations of what could happen. Kasey Kahne, 2 wins, not in the top 10. Kasey gets into the top 10, that leaves another wild card spot open for somebody else. And so you have all kinds of different things that can happen
But even before the wild card, the drama here, we saw guys race their way into the chase at this race long before the wild card was implemented. In some ways, everything that comes after this race is anticlimactic, but it's not just the drama manufactured by the chase. It's a great racetrack with great and very exciting racing to boot.
Yeah, side-by-side racing. It's interesting because this track is 3/4 of a mile long, makes it our longest short track, but it is still a short track. It's multiple groove racetrack, so you can race on the inside or the outside and have some success. So you should see cars side by side on the racetrack. And because it's a D-shaped oval, each end of the racetrack is a little bit different. We talk all the time about turn 2. You come off there, your car gets light and wants to float towards the wall. That's a tricky spot. You can get a lot of speed coming down that front stretch, coming off 4, down the curving front stretch, and into turn 1. So being able to manage all that is very, very important. And you do tend to see beating and banging here.
We've seen tempers flare here. Remember the great Dale Earnhardt Jr. Kyle Busch conflict. That was here at Richmond. And this is also a track where you do want to qualify well. I mean, it doesn't, it's not Bristol, it's not Martinsville.
But at any short track, you really do yourself
because you're going to get lapped in a hurry if you are in the back of the pack, and that's just going to exacerbate. It's going to be like a snowball effect rolling down the hill.
And when you have good side-by-side racing, sometimes you can see, and you probably will see, those long green flag runs that can alter the course of the race.
All right, we're going to come back right after this short break to talk drivers
this is like the shortest break you can possibly do.
It's
like a half-second break.
Like, don't blink or you'll miss the break. All right, everybody, we're back as promised. And
Told you that was going to be a quick break.
We're here with Jacqueline Roney, who I feel like we haven't seen in years.
Forever.
I know. Just get those other 2 girls out of the way. We need some Jacqueline time.
Why are you always playing them off against each other? It's like you're trying to create tension in
fun.
the Miss Sprint Cup family.
It entertains me.
That's why I sit with you on the couch and not you.
Because I'm nice and he is mean.
Okay, now let's see if you guys are so harmonious after we go over the standings, though, because Miss Sprint Cup has now been the top finisher for 3 races in a row. And thanks to Brooks' Kurt Busch pick.
Yeah, it was an excellent pick, which we said at the time.
Which was a little bit out on a limb. It was not an obvious pick. Brooke took Kurt Busch at Atlanta. We can now forgive her for the Ricky Stenhouse pick from earlier in the season.
And never bring it up again.
And you guys now have 46 points, tied with Tom, 46 points. Meanwhile, I am on a veritable free fall with 43 points. Thanks, Kasey Kahne, for nuttin'.
Well, you could pick him again this week.
I could. He wouldn't be a bad pick at Richmond, but I'm not going to pick him.
It's a new week.
So I should give Kasey another?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, are you going to pick Kasey?
No, it's not my pick.
Okay.
I'm doing a heart pick this week. You know, I'm not doing facts. Don't get nervous.
Well, heart picks can get you in trouble, Jack.
I know.
Or they can succeed beyond your wildest
but here's
dreams.
the thing. We know it's the last weekend before the start of the chase for
You're
the NASCAR
picking Jeff Gordon,
Sprint Cup.
aren't you?
No.
Will you stop and let her just speak?
No, okay. Martin Truex Jr. He's only 15 points out of the top 10, so he could essentially, with a good run, finish in the top 10 or clinch that second wild card spot that your boy Kasey already has the first one. So.
He does.
And the guy, we got to give him credit. 3rd place finish last week in Atlanta with a cast that essentially melted during the race.
Right.
Wow.
You got to have a higher melt point for your casts. I think that's the.
That's true.
When you're in NASCAR, the melt point has to get up there above 200 degrees,
and
just to be safe.
And I feel if you can finish a 3rd place finish with no painkillers and a broken wrist, it's my kind of driver.
There you
I
go.
certainly can't do it. I need the painkillers.
Me too.
Yeah. Even without the broken wrist, you need the painkillers. All right, who's your pick?
I'm going to pick Kyle.
Yeah.
And not Petty. Busch. Kyle Busch. Richmond's a great track. Didn't do so good there in the spring. He's on a roll. He wants to go into the chase with 5 wins, compete with Jimmy Johnson for this title. This is going to be our very first Jimmy versus Kyle chase. I can't wait.
You keep discounting Matt Kenseth.
I was going to say, what's wrong with that? It's going to be
Nothing's
Jimmy,
wrong
Kyle,
with
Matt.
Okay.
I agree with you, Jack.
Miss Sprint Cup.
Okay, so who's left? You got Dale Earnhardt Jr., not so much.
Not a lot of people.
You got Kevin Harvick, you got Clint Boyer.
Yeah.
I think it's really going to come down between, and Denny Hamlin, I think he must have kicked a puppy or something at some point.
What is up with his
because
season?
Because his luck is so bad, I can't even go there at
Kicked
Richmond
a
or
puppy?
Martinsville. He must have kicked a puppy.
That's awful.
I think I saw him do it.
That's a legitimate video game. Kick a puppy. You never played that?
Kind of like Frogger, only.
Yeah, only kicking.
Okay, never mind. So Clint Boyer or Kevin Harvick, to me, are the two guys that are left that are most logical. I'm going to go with Boyer. I think you couldn't go wrong either way. Boyer won this race last fall. He finished second to Harvick in the spring. This is definitely a Clint Boyer-style racetrack. I don't think TRD is going to be experimenting with his engine anymore, especially not in the last race before the chase.
Plus, don't forget, New Hampshire and the Chase and Phoenix have some similarities here.
And Clint's good at both of those
So I don't
tracks.
think you want to waste this on too much nuttiness.
Exactly.
You
And
want to
Clint
learn
needs a
something.
win right now because him and Junior are the only ones in the top 10 going in with no wins.
And but it's amazing that Clint Boyer is second in the standings with no wins. That says something about his consistency.
Absolutely.
So I'm going with Clint Boyer. You're going with Martin Truex
Yes.
Jr., Iron Man Martin Truex Jr., and you're going Kyle Busch.
The obvious.
It is.
And I will be
And
taking
Jimmy
over
has
the
been
lead.
letting me down. I mean, I can't go
I
with
know.
Jimmy. The cat was the last 3 weeks 40, 36, and 20.
well,
or
depending on when his wife goes
Jimmy.
into labor, he may not be there anyway.
True.
So you better stay away from Jimmy on your fantasy teams. He might have other things to attend to.
I
All
guess
right.
that's okay.
Like his new daughter.
Is it a daughter? Do we know it's a daughter?
Yeah, we know it's a daughter.
Nice.
Wonder what he's going to name her.
All right.
Sorry, go
What
ahead.
do you know?
No, I interviewed him last week and he said they don't have a name picked out.
Oh, sure.
Yet.
All right.
But you suggested Jacqueline.
That's Jacqueline.
I like the ring of that.
That's Tom. I'm Steven. We're going to go away now.